Welcome to City Block the Fir Tree, Part 3. On this street corner there are 3 remarkable houses, and we start at the address Vasagatan number 11, the so-called Elf House. This is the south side of the house, a narrow alleyway. The paintings are signed YR or TR as some pundits read it. It says Unity. Y for Yngve or T for Thorvald, but certainly not Carl Larsson as most people guess. The side entrance to Viktoriagatan. This delightful Art Nouveau house was built in 1890, with all the trimmings. The house was listed in 1982. Good news for all the paintings on the facade. The goose to the left looks at a page that says News. Is that Donald Trump on the right? Turning the corner to Vasagatan. Here is why the house is called the Elf House, Tomtehuset. Editor S.A. Hedlund had this house built in 1890. Hans Hedlund and Yngve Rasmussen were architects thereat. A.M. Jakobsson, builder. In the 1920s, the house became residential, and many of the big windows were bricked up. But the first occupants of this house ran a photographic firm. A fish and a lobster fighting over a sack of gold. Discuss. And squirrels with a cogwheel. The main entrance. Sneaking a peek round the private corner. The paintings on the north and west sides have fared worse in our climate. Vasagatan number 9, the Odd Fellow House. The Independent Order of Odd Fellows came from Baltimore to Gothenburg in 1895. The lodge supports charities as well as being a social club. Today there are some 40,000 members in Sweden, both men and women. My father's mother's father became a member of the Hemdal Lodge in 1911. According to my gran, the brothers all aided each other and organized big festivities for their children. Until 1935, they met in the first chapter house, which we visited in part 151 of this series. When this house was built in 1886, it was as a private villa for the wholesaler and shipping magnate August Carlsson. It was designed by Louis Enders and built by Joachim Dehn and Julius Leo. In 1936, the Fellows had an extra story built on for the ceremonial hall. Originally, the back of the villa looked out on a luscious terraced garden. The east side of the house Viktoriagatan number 11, starting at the west side, abutting the Elf House. This is actually the residential part of the Elf House. But since they are so different in style, we look at it separately. The south side of the house. Hans Hedlund designed this house in 1887. Again for his uncle S.A., for whom he built Vasagatan 46 2 years earlier. But this time the style is French castle from the 1500s. Bearded men looking down from the ramparts of the castle. Note the old-style painted wooden console under the roof. The entrance to Viktoriagatan is a loggia between this house and the Elf House. Hans Hedlund and Yngve Rasmussen, Architect Studio. Hans Hedlund, Architect, A.M. Jakobsson, Builder, 1888. We make a Jugend entrance to part 162 and the city block called the Spruce Tree.